Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. Today we will be taking a look at the Phantomwise Tarot. It is a 78 card deck with guidebook created by Erin Morgenstern, who also happens to be the author of The Night Circus. So I have not read the book, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it's on my list of books to read. So this is what the box looks like. It's like a clamshell type box with this beautiful gold detail on the front and the sides. So the Phantomwise Tarot. Welcome to a nocturnal fantasia where nothing is as it seems. The images in this black and white dreamscape exist now and then and out of time completely, somewhere between asleep and awake. The hand-painted characters and creatures who inhabit this circusy wonderland serve as symbols illustrating moments and mysteries encountered on life's journey. The enclosed guidebook will light your way, but you must trust your intuition as you travel the path of the Phantomwise Tarot. So that's pretty nice. You have here red detail on the side of the box. Let me just flip this over. You have the guidebook, which we'll be taking a look at later. And these are the cards. So you have a ribbon here, a little plastic. We'll move this to the side. Put that there. And let's take a look at the guidebook. So you have a little quote here through the looking glass. So it does seem like a little bit Alice in Wonderland inspired as well. And then you have introduction, suggestions on how to read the cards. You have a spread. Couple of spreads, again inspired, seemingly inspired by Alice in Wonderland. And then you have the meanings of the cards. You just have a little bit of a thumbnail and the meaning. So it doesn't have too much text, but I think it would be enough to get you started. Okay. So here are the cards. They are matte. The cardstock snaps back. It snaps back really well. It is in a linen finish. These are the backs, which are yes, reversible. And yeah, it's in this linen finish, so you can see the texture on the cards. And for the card size, just a little bit, is it? No, okay, so it's I think it's pretty much standard tarot size, just a smidge bigger, but yeah, still pretty much standard tarot size. So anyway, I'll zoom in so we can take a closer look at all of the cards. By the way, this deck is begging for an edging job. I'll have to think what color to edge it in, but definitely I will not leave the edges of this deck because they look so unfinished. So definitely I will be edging this deck. I just have to think of a color. Alright, so I zoomed in so you can take a closer look at the details of the cards. So it does have these borders around it. Honestly, I don't mind the borders. What I mind a little bit more is this text at the bottom. I wish the image was a little bit bigger. They took up a little bit more space here because it seems, you could have, or for me, I would have preferred a bigger image and maybe slightly smaller text or slightly tighter space between the image and the text. It did say, I think I think I watched somewhere, maybe it was The Hermit's Cave, a video of The Hermit's Cave, that this text is also reminiscent of old films or silent films or black and white films in the past. And maybe that's the aesthetic that they were going for. But for me personally, I would have preferred that the image was slightly bigger. That being said, I do love the art on this deck. It feels like a more mature, well, no, not much, well, it kind of feels to me like a more sophisticated Alice in Wonderland deck, which I'm so drawn to. I really like how it's illustrated. I'm not usually a fan of monochromatic decks, but something about the art style here, this whimsical circusy vibe, really called out to me and drew me in and made me want to get this deck. And I know there have been different circus-themed decks in the past, and also different Alice in Wonderland inspired decks, or that kind of vibe, but none of them really called out to me as much as this deck did. And it's, I don't know, something about even the limited color palette, I think, works to the benefit of this deck, because it makes it feel more. It feels like, again, I'm having difficulty putting my feelings into words, but it feels even more magical to me in some way. in some weird way. It feels like it's a different world altogether, and I don't need the bright pops of color, which I am usually more drawn to see the color that is portrayed in this world. I don't know, does that make sense to you? Sometimes I do have difficulty explaining what I want to explain, or what I feel, but that's really, I'm trying to as best as I can for you to understand, or to. Okay, let me take a breath. Okay, so I am trying my best to explain how I feel about this deck in a way that makes sense. I don't know if it's working, but yeah. But again, what I was saying is that the art on this deck makes me feel like I'm in this world that's so magical, so mysterious, and I want to explore it. That's really, really how the best way I can explain that. But yeah, it also makes me want to read The Night Circus. I just need to find time, as with I usually do mention, because life and other priorities are getting in the way of things that I want to do. But I have put in, or I have listed Night Circus as one of the books that I definitely want to read. And I think it's largely because of these cards, because I want to explore this world even further. And in the same video by Simon of the Hermit's Cave, he did mention that this deck was also created at the same time as the book was being written, but it's only been published recently. And here's my favorite suit. So the imagery is patterned or based on the RWS. So if you are familiar with the RWS, these images would be quite familiar to you and it would be easy to pick up or to read. But even if you're not, I think the text in the guidebook would also be a good help to start you off on this reading or on reading this deck. You can see it's not really just black and white. There's like shades of beige, blue, and yeah, I really like the art style and the art on this deck. Okay, we have the Knight, the Queen, and the King. Okay, then I'll zoom out and let's see how this deck shuffles. Alright, so let's see how this deck shuffles. It's a little bit thick. It's a linen cardstock, but thicker than other linen cardstocks. But yeah, let's see. So I do have slightly smaller hands, and I do have a little bit of trouble getting my hands around it. The cards are a little bit stiff for linen. I'm not sure, but most of my linen finish decks shuffle like a dream. And this deck feels a little stiff, and I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a little bit of a bow. Let's see if I can shuffle it the other way around. So yeah, it's yeah, the shuffle, sorry. So maybe it's just, I just need to break it in a bit more, but it's kind of stiff and feels, it feels stiff for a linen cardstock, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie, but I can still work with it. But yeah. Anyway, let's see how it side shuffles. Oh, and we already have a card that wants to be read. But yeah, I think it overhands better than the riffle. I don't feel that it is sticking. And yeah, a lot of jumpers, but we'll read for the first one. So let's just do this a couple more times. Okay, so yeah, you do get a lot of jumpers with this deck, so that's a good thing for me because I read with jumpers. And we will be reading for the Hermit. Alright, so in the guidebook it says, on a quiet mountaintop there is a tree. A glowing lantern hangs from its branches, illuminating the darkness and a solitary seeker, serenely searching. This is a place of introspection, a retreat, a space to draw back and look within. Now is the time to find a quiet spot and a soft light, to sit comfortably and tune out the noise of the world. Discover a stillness, and within that stillness, gain a greater understanding. So it's not a lot, but it gives you the core meaning of the card, and I think it's really well done. And again, I just want to explore this world a lot more, and I'm definitely interested in reading the Night Circus. I think that the art on this deck is beautiful. It feels mysterious, it feels sophisticated, it feels magical, and the circusy vibe in a in a more in a more subdued but not nonetheless very interesting way. And it also does give me Alice in Wonderland vibes or feels that I guess really pulls you or makes you want to explore this world. And I keep saying that, but that's really how this deck makes me feel. This deck is mass market. It's a relatively new release, so if you were interested or if you are drawn to the art the same way I was, you can go check it out. I got this from Amazon. Anyway, that has been the flip through of the Phantomwise Tarot. If you find this video helpful, please click on the like button. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post videos like this at least once a week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!